All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Got a lot to talk about today. NBA Finals, a lot going on. Got Deontay Kelly joining me.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing pretty good. Nice to have you back on. I know you've been busy with school, and then you went on a trip and stuff. So it's nice to have you back on the show.
All right, I'm glad to be back. Yeah, it's been crazy busy, but I'm ready to talk.
Well, let's start with the NBA Finals. Did you get to watch the first two games?
Yeah, I haven't watched first two games, and it's quite interesting. I still believe my personal pick. I think it's going to be Boston in 6, but how I'm really interpreting it is like you're relying so much on Steph Curry. Game 2, in the second half, Jordan Poole came and played and showed up. You had Andrew Wiggins doing a pretty good job defending, and Kevon Looney and Draymond Green setting the intensity, but honestly, my personal opinion about the finals, how it's going, Golden State is not going to be able to literally just rely straight up on Stephen Curry. They're going to need Clay in the shots. And in my personal opinion, I don't believe Marcus Smart is only going to score like in single digits again, or I don't believe Al Horford's just going to score 2 points. Like, they're going to play better in Boston. The game's in Boston tonight. They're going to play better in Boston, and I believe they're going to pull off the win. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Boston win both games at Boston. Boston played game 2 like in the second half, like, all right, we already stole game 1. We stole a game, so we got the home court advantage. So all we got to do is maintain the home court advantage, and we're good. That's how I believe Boston played, and I think that's how I believe Tatum's going to play better. I believe Brown's going to play better. I believe they're going to come back swinging because I believe they're going to be motivated, and they're the best team in the playoffs when it comes down to losing and coming back from it. So they lost, and they're good at coming back and winning.
Yeah, they haven't lost 2 games in a row since like late January or early March or something like that. They haven't lost 2 games in a row.
I say yes. I think they're going to have to use more. I think Pritchard's going to have to play better. I believe Derek White, he's playing solid. Tatum's going to have to is playing better. Tatum's going to go back to his superstar status. Jaylen Brown got to play better than he did the last game. I believe a lot of people they're going to play better, and I also believe they're going to use more Thies in this game coming up, and I honestly believe Boston's going to win. And another thing about last game 2, game 1, Golden State had people saying Golden State, like Draymond said, they dominated the whole first through third quarter and lost the fourth. I agree they dominated the first quarter and the third, but my thing is Golden State played arguably their best basketball with that. Curry had 34. They was doing good, and Boston was still up. So that's why I think Boston will match up is just a better look. In Boston, they're going to give them games where game 2, a lot of calls wasn't made. Jaylen Brown got 2 calls that should not have been calls, but also they turned the ball over a lot. They was taking a lot of contested shots. So Boston, and I felt like Boston gave up. So I think this game tonight, they're going to play better.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game tonight. I got Golden State in 6, and that's what I said before the series started. So I'm going to stick with it. But you're right about Golden State. Somebody other than Steph's going to have to step up, or they're going to have trouble winning this series. Steph's not going to be able to do it by himself. He's played great the first 2 games, but Jordan Poole stepped up a little bit late in that third quarter, but they need Klay Thompson to start hitting some shots. For them to win the championship, Klay Thompson's going to have to come through and hit some shots. But if you look at his stats in the first 2 games of all the series, he hasn't played very good. And then starting in the third game, he usually has been playing better. So hopefully that trend continues and he'll play better tonight. But I still have the Warriors, but I do agree with you. The Warriors somebody else has to step up. Wiggins or Poole, somebody like that's going to have to be an X factor, especially if Klay don't start hitting some shots. Poole and Wiggins are going to have to pick up that slack. And I think them getting Peyton back was big for them on the defensive end as well.
Oh yeah, I think that was a big thing getting Gary Payton back. He's gonna get his field, but I honestly really believe they just gotta play better. And plus, if you ask some people believe Draymond Shea got ejected game 2.
It was close. It was close. He could have if they were to eject him, you couldn't argue about it. You know what I mean? It was close. I was going to say that he's going to have to really watch. That's going to be interesting tonight because if he does what he done the other night in Boston, I think he gets ejected.
I was surprised he didn't get ejected, to the fact that, honestly, in my personal opinion, the one with Grant Williams, for example, and they called a defensive foul. They called a foul on Grant Williams, but Draymond got the tech at first. He shoved Grant Williams to the ground, and then you shoved Jaylen Brown at the back. If I was Jaylen Brown, I would have did more.
And then try to pull down his shorts.
Yeah, personally, if I was Jaylen Brown, I would have did more to cause a tech. I would have got myself a tech. I would have got double teched and got Draymond ejected. Personally, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but that's what I think the Celtics need to do tonight. Come out, be physical, get physical with Draymond, get him to get that tech, get him out of the game like that, because that'd be big for the Celtics. Plus, you can't let Draymond get in your head. He's going to talk. Let him talk. But if he starts doing that physical stuff, get a little physical back with him. I'm not saying get yourself thrown out, but get a little physical back with him, and he's going to get a tech because the referees are already going to be looking for it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, honestly, I really think Boston could have played that a lot better, but I still have faith in the Celtics. They're the most battle-tested team in the playoffs this year. So I believe they knocked off 2 champions and a good team of Miami. I believe they can pull it off.
I think it's going to be 2-2 after these next 2 games, and then I think it's just basically going to be best of 3. I think the Warriors will at least get 1 in Boston. I think they'll split like they did in Golden State, and then we're gonna have a series. It's going to get real interesting if it comes down to the best 2 out of 3.
I would not be surprised if Golden State and Boston split 2-2, but that's how I think it's going to split 2-2, and I honestly think Boston is probably going to steal another game at Golden State and going to win at home because they're good at closing out games.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Boston win both. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, with Game 7, the Warriors would have home court, so that can help as well. Yeah, it's going to be a close series. Like I said, I have Warriors in 6, but it ain't like I'm, super confident in that right now. That was the pick I made before the series started, but this series could go either way. And both the teams haven't had all their guys step up and play. Like last game, Horford didn't have a great game. Like you mentioned, Smart on the offensive end. And that's not going to be like that all the time. So, and I mean, you never know if Klay could get going, and then the Warriors look different. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And with Draymond, what happens with him? Does he get himself thrown out of another playoff series like he did back in 2016, I think it was?
Yeah, when he got suspended. But honestly, I forgot about it. In basketball, remember, there's the point system, and if you get a certain amount of techs, a certain amount of points, you can get suspended. So that's
I think he's only a couple away.
Like Draymond, that's what I do. I'll egg Draymond on, even if he don't get ejected that game. The point system, you get him suspended, and you can get him suspended in a very critical game that you need. And I'm not saying
He's
I'm
only
not
1 or
saying
2 games
just
away from getting suspended.
yeah,
Or
I'm not
1 or 2
saying
checks
take
away. I
him
mean,
out. It's not fair. It's not fair to say that, but I honestly feel like what you should do is if you're like the point of basketball and the point is to get a ball hoop, but also to manipulate your
yeah,
opponent and
that's what
expose.
Draymond tries to do. He tries to get in his opponent's head.
Yeah, so if you get in his head and then you take him out the game where he can hurt his team, I believe you're doing more of a justice. So you need guys like
Yeah.
Grant Williams, Marcus Smart to go at Draymond because those are the guys that goes at Draymond.
And when he
And
gets physical, go at him a little bit, cause him to go to do something else so he does get that tech.
exactly, that's how I feel. And honestly, I think it's gonna be real. I think this game is gonna be closer than everybody thinks.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a real close game. I'm excited for it. I hate that they've been taking the 2 days off. It's like, man, I want to watch a basketball game.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, yeah, that sucks. It's like
Especially right now, all it's on. And I love baseball, but that's all it's been on really is baseball. Well, the hockey playoffs have been real good too. But I've been wanting to watch some more basketball because I think this is going to be. I think the rest of the games are going to be closer games. I don't think you're going to see the blowouts like we did in the first 2 games, where a team pulls away. I think I think these games are going to come down to the end.
yeah, I think so too. I think it's not going to be blowouts. Like Boston played a great fourth quarter game one that nobody's ever seen,
Yeah,
and
they were hitting fucking everything.
Golden State they were balling like Golden State's one of the only teams that in the blink of an eye, next thing you know, they got 20 points in the first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just them. But I believe it's going to be a very entertaining. I still got to stick with my pick.
What and you said what? Celtics in 6
Yeah, I think it's Boston in 6.
or Boston? Okay. Well, who do you think needs to win this game more? Do you think that one of them need this game more than the other? I would say probably Golden State just because you're on the road and you lost
Yeah,
one
if
at
Golden
home.
State need the game. If Golden State lose both games, I honestly believe, in my opinion, that it's going to be a wrap. Golden State need these 2 games.
Yeah,
They need one of these games. If you don't steal a game in Boston, y'all are not beating Boston.
I think if either team goes up 3-1, the series is over. I think if the Warriors somehow won these 2 games in Boston, I think the Warriors.
Yeah, the series is over.
Yeah, and if Boston done the same thing, I think the series is over.
If you split it 2-2, then it'll be
it'll be interesting.
Then game 5, because most of the time everybody know whoever wins game 5 most of the time wins the series.
Yep.
Not trying, I'll say like 80% of the time, if you win game 5, you got the series on lock.
Yeah, I think it's like 75 to 80%. I remember seeing the stat about that not too long ago.
Yeah, it's like you have the series on lock. And honestly, I honestly believe the Celtics.
And that game would be in Golden
State. Can do it.
That game being Golden State, but the Celtics have already won a game in Golden State. So I mean,
yeah. So Celtics got the advantage right now. People don't realize they're saying the series is tied, but the Celtics got the advantage because the next 2 games are in Boston and they control their own destiny.
That's why I think
Tatum got to go to when him and Giannis did that shootout where he dropped 46.
Yeah. Yeah, Tatum needs to show up a little more. But even the first game when he went shooting well, he done a lot facilitating the ball.
Yeah,
he still affected the game. You know what I mean? That's what I liked about him. He still affected the game with his defense and his and passing the ball and getting his teammates shots. So I mean, he proved a lot to me in that game because of that. I mean, yeah, his shot wasn't going, but he didn't just like mope around. He kept playing and done other things to help his team win.
Oh yeah, I agree. He did help his team win, but honestly, in my personal opinion, I really think it should have been. I honestly think Tatum needs to just score more. When the more he scores, and then he can kick it out, and he's hot, he can kick it out, and he can get it to his Derek Whites, his Grant Williams.
There's sometimes I think he needs to be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, me too. And I also another thing, Al Horford got to play more aggressive too.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're going to get the Al Horford you got in game 1. But you can't have Al Horford you had in game 2. You need the one that's about in the middle where he might get 10 to 15 points, and he's going to help you a lot on defense too. But he didn't have a very good game 2
Al
at all.
Horford need his 14 points and 8 boards.
Yeah,
and play a little bit.
You don't have to have 20-something points like he did in game 1. That dude was hitting everything he threw up in game one, especially that
Yeah,
fourth.
but I'll be telling folks. I was telling my friends. I said Al Horford is going to give you one of them games where he's going to give you a he's going to be the best player on that floor, and he is going to give you one of them games. And Boston going to one of them games he wouldn't due to the fact that I like Kevon Looney, but Kevon Looney cannot spread the floor. If Al Horford's hitting his shots, that means you're taking Kevon Looney out, which involves Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to attack the basket.
Yeah.
So that's what they really need.
Who do you think will be the X factor in tonight's game?
Golden State, the X factor is going to be Klay Thompson, and in Boston, X factor is going to be Marcus Smart. If Marcus Smart can give you at least 20 points and 6 assists, I think the Celtics are going to win. Klay Thompson, if Klay Thompson can give you his efficient self, not even his old self, just efficient Klay Thompson, I believe Golden State is. But I believe Klay Thompson is the X factor. It's a tie between Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole's X factor because Curry, Wiggins, and Draymond, they're coming. They're going to do what they do. Curry, Wiggins, and Draymond. Wiggins is not the scorer like he's supposed to, but Wiggins is playing defense and he's shooting shots that he needs. Draymond, he's Draymond Green. He's going to set the pace. He's going to set the tone. He's going to play defense. He's going to be the aggressor. He's going to agitate people. He's going to do what he's doing. Curry's Curry. Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole, they are scorers. They got to score this ball.
Yep. I agree with you. My X factors would have been the same too, you said, but I was almost a tie with Jordan Poole, but I went with Klay Thompson being an X factor. For one, is because the experience of already playing in the finals before and what we've seen Klay Thompson do before. Nothing against Jordan Poole, because Jordan Poole's transformation from the G League to what he's doing now is it's nothing but fucking amazing. I mean, you going from a G League, all G League player to now,
his development,
starting to be a star in the NBA. His development has just been unreal.
Those are the two best teams in the NBA when it comes down to developing players. Boston and Golden State, and that's why they're in the finals, because most of Golden State players that they got are homegrown. Their best players, Poole, Curry, Draymond, Klay, they develop nice in Boston. Tatum, Brown, Smart.
Yep.
You have Grant Williams. You have Pritchard. There's a lot of homegrown guys in the Celtics.
We have two organizations that have stability.
Yes, stability and Brad Stevens. I was surprised Brad Stevens went to the front office last year, and I'm like, they ain't gonna find a better coach than Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens is one of the best coaches in basketball when he left Boston. He was top 5. He was
Brad
top
Stevens,
5.
He hired he was top 5, and he hired a hell of a coach to replace him.
Ime Udoka is a great, and then they went and got Derek White from San Antonio, and they got Al Horford and Daniel Theis back, and they playing great minutes.
I was going to say, Stevens so far being the GM or whatever has done a great job.
Yes, and I still don't think they're done. I think Boston's going to make a few more picks, a few more trades to get where they're in. Golden State. Steve Kerr is doing a great job. Hall of Fame coach, one of the best dynasties in basketball history. Yes, I said Golden State Warriors is one of the best dynasties in the history of the NBA. I won't say the best, but it's in that race.
I agree. And could have been even better if some injuries didn't happen.
Like,
if Durant decided to stay with them and they didn't have all the injuries.
In my lifetime watching that, I didn't get to watch. Like, I didn't get to watch the 90s Bulls. I didn't get to watch the 86 Celtics, the 87 Lakers, the Bad Boys, Hakeem's team, the Golden State Warriors. In my lifetime, when Kevin Durant was arguably the best team in NBA history. You have 4 guys that's most likely going to make it to the Hall of Fame. And I know people don't like Draymond, but Draymond's most likely making it.
I got to watch the 86 finals that you were talking about, but I was only 6 years old, so I really don't remember much of it. But now, but I went back and watched some of it. But now, like the 90s with the Bulls, that was right. That's when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, and that was when I was really big, and that's when I really got big into sports. So I watched that Bulls dynasty, even though I hated them because they kept putting my Pacers out. But
I always went to 7 with them.
Yep.
It was always game 7.
Yep, the only team that took them to a game 7.
Y'all had a nice squad though. The Davis brothers. You guys had Mark Jackson. Y'all had Reggie Miller.
I'll say
At
my
some point, y'all
man
had
Reggie.
Byron Scott. Y'all had some. Y'all had a solid squad. Then 1 year with Jalen Rose when y'all went to the finals against Shaq.
Yep.
Which
2000.
It's Shaq at that time. Shaq.
Oh yeah, it was a dominating Shaq. It was when he was still dominating the league.
Yeah, it was. It's people don't realize.
He was throwing Rick Smith around like Rick Smith was a ragdoll, dude.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Flying Dutchman.
He when I was a kid, he was my second favorite player because I loved Reggie Miller. Because I got to meet Reggie Miller and Chuck Person and some of the other Pacers at a Pacer basketball camp that I went to with the Muncie Boys and Girls Club. So I got to meet them guys when I was younger. So them two guys they became my favorite players. And of course, I was a Pacer fan, and Reggie's always been my favorite player. I just hate that he never got a championship. I think the year that we had the damn brawl in Detroit, we had a great chance to win it that year.
That was one of y'all best teams because you guys had Ron Artest. Ron Artest was an all-star. Yep. You have Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal. Y'all had a very good team. I thought y'all was better than Detroit.
And still had Reggie.
Yeah, I think y'all was better than Detroit.
And then you had that brawl, and everybody got suspended for the next season, and Reggie leaves, and then ever since Vogel had some good years in Indiana. We just couldn't get past Cleveland.
Yeah, I see. Y'all was the only team that could take LeBron to Game 7 too. What up, Rob?
What's up, Rob? Y'all? What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling, brother?
We good, man. How are you?
Feeling good, finally.
I'm good, man. Up here at work, man, and
work keeping you busy.
You know what? Actually, I'm busy here, but I saw you guys. I was like, maybe I could sneak on for a second.
We're disappeared.
Go
ahead, Dante.
Yeah, we was talking about the finals. We're just trying to figure out who.
Well, I know Rob has the Warriors in 5.
5?
Yep, that was his pick from the beginning. Warriors in 5.
Wow. Hey, it's the Warriors, so I can't knock nobody that
Rob's a big Golden State fan, or not Golden State fan, Steph Curry fan.
I love Steph Curry.
He's a big Steph Curry fan. His favorite Rob's a Bulls fan, but he loves Steph Curry. So he's been rooting for the Warriors. Oh, dude, I love watching Steph Curry play because you never know what he's going to do.
I love Steph Curry. Like, I think he gets a lot of slander.
Yeah, I do too. I think he's the respect he should get.
Yeah, I think Steph Curry, he doesn't get the respect.
He gets treated wrong. He don't get the respect he deserves at all.
Are we talking about my favorite player?
Yep.
I love Steph Curry.
You know what it is, man.
I think he's 6'4". He's not 6'6".
Steph Curry suffers from the Kobe syndrome. A lot of people didn't really like Kobe until he retired. And now even more people are finally starting to show Kobe respect after his unfortunate passing. So I think with the way Steph played, it's not going to be really appreciated until after he retired. Even a lot of people didn't like Mike. I mean, think about it. Steph Curry was the first unanimous.
I hated Michael Jordan.
Hey, Steph Curry was the first unanimous MVP. So that's surprising considering the fact that most years you could look at the landscape of the league and say Michael Jordan was the best player out there. Yeah. But he was not voted by everybody. So I just think
like the year Karl Malone got MVP over.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's some people they don't. I'm starting to think people don't like winners.
I don't understand it because you don't get to go ahead.
I think it's honestly due to the fact that I'm not gonna lie, most of the best players that we've seen in the NBA has been 6'6" and above. The LeBron James, the Larry Birds, the Magic Johnsons. I know we had dudes like Isaiah Thomas and we had Allen Iverson, guys like that are under 6 foot that can perform.
But I think Allen Iverson bought the rebel, so people love a rebel. Steph Curry,
people love AI.
He's a God-fearing man. He has a beautiful family. He's like, if you look up the prototypical Black American in the U.S.
That's Allen Iverson.
Steph Curry would he's the pro. This is why people didn't like Obama, because they're like, you know what, he don't got no crimes. He don't do nothing.
He's a normal
bad.
black guy. It is true. He's a normal black. But I think it's honestly, it's just, and also too, people hate winners and guys that they know is just gonna win. You have people hate LeBron James to the fact that they just hate LeBron because he's LeBron. People hate Jordan because he's Jordan. I hate Tom Brady because it's Tom Brady. I personally hate Tom Brady.
How can you hate Tom?
I'm a diehard.
I ain't gonna lie. I have hate for Tom. I'm a diehard Colts fan.
I'm a diehard Chargers fan.
He kept us out of a lot of fucking. He kept us out of a lot of fucking Super Bowls. So
if it wasn't for Tom Brady,
I get it. Tom Brady has won me so much money. I hate
Tom Brady, but I also give Tom Brady his respect.
I say he's the best quarterback ever. But
yeah, he's the best quarterback. He's the best quarterback. But
see, that's the difference between Steph, because you see how you guys are like, I don't like him, but I understand who he is. People don't respect Steph.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. He doesn't get the respect.
He's a two-time back-to-back.
I love watching Steph Curry play.
I believe Steph Curry is at least a top 15.
I say he's top 12 right now. He wins the finals this year.
I say at the minimum.
Well, there's been years that he should have been. There's been years that he should have been in the conversation as up there as being the top player in the league, and he would get left out of the conversation.
I always have him as one of the top players. He's always been in my top 5.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like the beat in the. Like when you see on TV and stuff, was never nobody's like top 2 or 3
Steph
players
Curry
in the world.
Was competing with LeBron and Durant as the best players in basketball.
I mean, LeBron only has one finals victory against him out of the 4 times they played.
In respect of LeBron, the first one, Kyrie and Kevin Love was hurt.
Hey, I get you, but hey, I'm from the land of play with who out there.
And he had Kevin Durant.
Hey, not the first one.
No, the next 2, he had Kevin Durant.
What that mean? So that means are we counting LeBron rings then when he was with Miami? Because people kill me when they bring that up. Miami pretty much tipped the scale in their favor with Wade, Bosh, and LeBron teaming up. But nobody wants to bring that up. But then, Golden State had
Wade
Kevin Durant.
a top 5 player in basketball?
Wade at that time he was.
Wade was top 10 with Curry and
Durant.
He was top 10. He was top 10.
I agree. Wade was top 10. Had that run. Wade was still a top 10 player.
Wade was a top 10 player in the league. I agree. But Kevin Durant and Curry, Kevin Durant is arguably the best efficient scorer that we've ever seen.
Hey, I think Jason Tatum has something to say about that.
Come on, man. It was the system. It's the system.
I saw a lot of plays where Jason Tatum stopped him head up.
I ain't going. He snatched it. So, bro, everybody had moments, man. Every great player. I'll be telling people this. Every great player then had a moment where growing pains happen.
No, it does.
Kevin Durant, this was just Kevin Durant's moment.
But people blame the team. Oh, he went to go. What team hasn't been souped up? You have Michael and Scotty on the same team already. You bring in a Dennis Rodman who just fit perfectly at what they needed from him. Look at those Lakers teams. Look at those Boston Celtics teams back in the day. They all was souped up teams.
That's where the Warriors are different. Their team's basically homegrown.
Kevin Durant was the only person they bought in.
I agree.
If you look at what the Golden State Warriors did, Golden State bought in just Kevin Durant. The Lakers they drafted Magic. They bring in Kareem.
They had Kareem before Magic. They had Kareem before Magic.
They had who?
They had Kareem before Magic.
Right. I'm saying they got in Kareem. Then you draft Magic. The next year you draft Worthy. You bring in all these other guys.
Same thing with Boston. I think honestly, free agency changed it because they hate to see players can control their own narrative. So they're gonna say they just don't want to compete. My thing with Durant is about the Golden State is he lost 3-1 this series before the year before. Like that same year he signed.
But do we persecute Kevin Durant or do we persecute the Warriors?
No, I persecute Kevin Durant. I always say that's a business decision. If Kevin Durant was on my team, if Kevin Durant wants to be on my team, he's going, come on. I'm gonna invite him. He said he want to play with y'all, and I got all-stars already, and I know he'll still be the best player. Only thing I don't like what the Warriors doing, how Draymond Green is trying to make it seem like they would have just won without Durant. That's the problem. The reason they got Kevin Durant is because they could not beat a healthy Cleveland Cavaliers team with LeBron James and Kyrie. They could not stop LeBron or Kyrie. They got Kevin Durant because he was an equalizer. Because nobody could guard. Kevin Durant was the only person at the time in the NBA that could go toe-to-toe with LeBron James.
And Draymond keeps bringing it up in the press conference to see it kills me.
But I think Draymond does that due to the fact that he wants to give Steph Curry all the confidence in the world, especially before these finals, because honestly, these finals are probably the biggest finals Steph Curry has played so far because of everything that's riding on him winning these finals. He's never won a finals MVP. A lot of people, including myself, are saying that if he does, this is going to peak him into the top 10.
Yeah, he's a top 10 player if he wins finals MVP.
So, so it's a lot riding on him winning these finals.
My personal opinion, do you think Curry's better than Kevin Durant?
Right now, I do. We're talking all-time ranking. I have Steph Curry above KD. I'm not saying Steph Curry is a better.
I think KD's a top 11 player. I think KD's a top 11 player.
Yeah, I don't.
I personally, I'm looking at it.
Leadership is what, because I put in everything. I'm talking about skill-wise and intangibles. KD does not have those intangibles for me to say he's a maybe top 15.
Where would you put Steph Curry right now?
I got top 12. I got
Curry.
12.
I got Curry 12, 13.
Okay.
The only reason I do Durant, I ain't gonna lie. Personally, me, I will take a skilled big man over a skilled guard any day. A skilled big man is the most dominant thing. And I think personally, in my opinion, everybody talk about Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan. If we're talking about efficient scoring, where you're not putting up like 24 or 25 shots all the time, I think Kevin Durant's the best scorer to touch a basketball. You can't stop
he's one of the most efficient scorers ever. But, I mean, Melo is one of the best scorers to ever play in the game, and nobody has Melo even in their top 20.
And let me ask you guys a question. You think
if Melo had a ring, he'll be in the top 20.
Yeah.
He'll have a ring.
But KD got those rings by what? Running the Golden State.
Hey, he saved his legacy. I ain't gonna lie. He made a business decision too. I don't agree with it, but it's not like he sat there and just wrote a coach. He won the finals MVP. He's the one that.
I still don't understand why he left though. You could have kept building a legacy.
You see Russell Westbrook.
He's trying to save his legacy again. The thing is, he thought by running the Golden State, he understood he was gonna get some slack. But he also thought that if I win, people will forget. And the problem is people have not forgot. They throw that in his face every time.
In his defense, I don't believe he knew.
That's what I'm saying. If he just stayed there and won
basketball.
If he just stayed there and won a couple more championships, so I think people would have started looking at it.
I think he wanted his own team, in which it sucked for him. But I ain't gonna lie, you can't fault him. Kyrie Irving doesn't play basketball whenever he plays basketball whenever he feels like it. And honestly, I think Kevin Durant, the Nets was just a bad choice.
I fault Kevin Durant for not stepping up and being a leader.
I think so.
That's my thing.
I think he need to be more of a leader.
And this has been the same situation that happened with him and Russell. See, the thing is, when you go to Golden State, everything is so easy going when the best player on the team says, hey, this is your team. Like, they told him this is your team. He didn't go in there and take anything.
You think that's why Seth don't get the respect he deserves, because he took a step back a little bit when Durant came to the team?
That is a reason, because people are saying, hey, you were the driver of this car and you gave the keys to another driver.
But honestly,
he's one of the first players like that to do that.
No, D Wade did it too.
Yeah, D Wade done it.
But Curry knew, he was like, this guy
was D Wade in his prime when he done it. Curry,
D Wade was a top 10 player in NBA when he gave it to LeBron.
Yeah, but D Wade,
but D Wade knees was also messed up.
But D Wade also understand that we're gonna bring LeBron to this team. You know, because they discussed this before they even made the announcement. Before LeBron took an hour of our lives giving us the decision, that it was already understood. Okay, LeBron is coming here to play.
That was the only time I ever seen a free agent signing like that ever in my
life. But understandably, when you lose to Dallas, you also understand that, hey, LeBron, I see you trying to make sure that you fit in. You don't have to fit in around here. We got to fit in around you. You are the best player on this team. We need you to play like it in order for us to win. Otherwise, there's no purpose of you being here.
Also, I honestly think Kevin Durant's not good when it comes down to building teams. Because if you're a guy that's a scorer, why would you go from a team that passes the ball and spreads the ball? You already played with an ISO guy in Westbrook, and you didn't like it. You're playing with an ISO guy with Kyrie. I think if he would have went to a different situation, it could have been a different story. I think Brooklyn was not the best choice for him. I honestly think if he would have went somewhere else, he probably. I think if he would have went to Washington, it would have been better for him. Because Brooklyn's not full. Kyrie is a great player. Kyrie's one of the most skilled point guards I've ever seen. But Kyrie, the reason him and LeBron work so well is because LeBron can do other stuff besides score. Kevin Durant can too, but LeBron will dish it out and he'll let Kyrie get his shot. Kevin Durant is a scorer. Like, his job is to get buckets. LeBron's job is to make everybody better. Durant's job is to get buckets. And I don't think him and Kyrie is good at meshing. You're just good at scoring. I think if you would have went to a team that legit is more team related, and if you give Durant a legit floor general, I think Durant would have been better. Because if you're looking at the Nets series, they didn't run no plays. They literally just ran ISOs. And that's how Boston beat them. They don't run no ISO. They ran nothing but ISOs, isolation plays, and if Durant and Kyrie can't score, I don't know what else to do.
Hey, Rob, we were talking about before you got on. Who do you think will be the X factor tonight in Game 3?
I think he's on a call. I think he's at work on a call.
Yeah, he must have got busy for a minute. Yeah, I think I agree with the X factors like that you said. Klay Thompson has to play better if the Warriors are going to win, and then Marcus Smart has to play better as well for Boston. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Boston responds at home tonight. I think they got to get back to playing their physical style of defense.
But I'll give Marcus Smart benefits.
Warriors have been killing him with that high pick and roll, which
he got to run for screens. He got to run with screens. But I think what's so special about the Celtics, they should literally just switch everything. If they would switch everything, everything would be. I think everything would be better if they could switch everything. And they're like, we're just not going to let. I think they're going to go to the point like, we'll let Steph Curry beat me, but everybody else is not getting nothing else. I think they're going to be at that point.
That's what I haven't understood in the regular season. They were one of the teams that switched the most in the league, and they haven't been doing it switching like that here in the finals for some reason. I think they need to get to that because Steph is killing them on that high pick and roll. They have to go over the top of that. They go under it. His release is too quick. You're not going to get there.
Yeah, that high pick and roll is crazy right now with Golden State. But they're going to do high pick and roll, run around, and they're going to do what they do all the time. That's what Golden State is. They're going to play high pick and roll and run everywhere around the court.
Hey, what's up, Yuki?
Everywhere.
Huh. Thoughts on Virginia Tech cornerback Jermaine Waller?
I didn't know that.
Retiring in the NFL as an undrafted rookie. No, I hadn't seen that yet either.
That's crazy. But there's a lot at this day and age. I think a lot of people just realizing the CTE is a big thing and they're collecting their money from the NFL and deciding to invest in something and then just leave. Because remember, Patrick Willis was a all-pro Hall of Fame. He would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer most likely if he would have stayed and played. But he retired at 30. Luke Kuechly, another example. He retired early. Andrew Luck still hurts me. I think Andrew Luck, honest, I say this all the time, Chris. If Andrew Luck stayed in the NFL right now, I think Andrew Luck will be the best quarterback in football. I thought Andrew Luck was better than Patrick Mahomes when he had a line.
I agree.
Andrew Luck, when he had a line, when Quentin Nelson and everybody, y'all had the best line in football, Andrew Luck threw 40 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
If he had came back that year where he retired, I think we were going to have a hell of a team because we had an offensive line finally.
Y'all are literally the only thing y'all been missing for the past 3 or 4 years is quarterback play.
Mm-hmm. And our defense is good, and they improved our defense this year, bringing in
everything,
bringing in Gilmore. Now we have to get a quarterback.
The only thing I didn't appreciate is Colts fans getting mad that Andrew Luck retired. I'm like, bro, he was getting abused every year.
Hey, I wasn't mad when he retired. I understood it because he was, like I said, he was one of my favorite players because he was the one that took over for Peyton.
I was a huge Andrew Luck fan. I love Philip Rivers. I was a Chargers guy.
Honestly, I think if he don't retire, I don't think if he don't retire, the Colts might have had a great chance of getting a Super Bowl.
I really think if Andrew Luck never retired, he was the best. He would be the best quarterback in football right now.
Yeah, I think the Colts would have had at least one Super Bowl.
It would have been between him, Patrick Mahomes, and
he could carry a team. That dude, he had a way of making people play better.
Yeah, the Colts were terrible when you drafted him, but he took him to he was like 10-6 his first year.
Yeah,
as a rookie, he had like one of the biggest turnarounds in NFL history.
The Colts they never got that offensive line, and he got killed.
That I say, yeah, people don't realize the offensive line means something. Then next thing you know, his shoulder he started giving out because he kept getting hit. It's like you can't do nothing. He had to survive to make the play. You gotta realize, man. I loved Andrew Luck. I was a huge Andrew Luck fan. Even when he was in Stanford, I was a huge fan.
Oh yeah,
I loved Andrew Luck. Like if you asked me, like people realize, like they asked me who was my favorite quarterback in the NFL at that time. I always told them I was a huge Andrew Luck fan.
Oh yeah, I got an Andrew Luck jersey hanging up here in the room.
Because he was the best player with the least amount of talent.
Oh yeah.
He didn't have like T.Y. Hilton was his best receiver, but besides T.Y. Hilton, you really didn't know who was on the team.
No, and he would throw it to all of them.
Yes. And I think they miss Andrew Luck too. I looked at him this year. I'm like, maybe one day he'll come back. He see the Colts looking nice. He'll come back. I see how skinny he is. I'm like, yeah, he's not coming back.
Andrew Luck is gone.
I saw that press conference. Yeah,
I seen that BCS national championship. I said, yeah, he's not coming back.
Man,
he's content with life.
But honestly, look where the Colts could be right now if he wouldn't have retired.
Y'all won a Super Bowl. I think y'all won a franchise. Y'all lost because of Deflategate.
That wasn't Tom Brady's fault, by the way.
Deflategate.
No way. Robert, who do you think is going to be the X factor tonight in Game 3? I think it needs to be Thompson for the Warriors. That's what Deontay said. And,
I think it's smart too.
Nah,
Thompson is smart.
I think it's gonna is the X factor is gonna be the Golden State Warriors defense. I think they need to mirror what they did in Game 2 by letting Tatum go off and stopping everybody else. That is their formula for success.
Same thing with Golden State, though. They just let Curry do his thing, too. Let Curry do his thing and just – I'll do the same thing. Like, Curry can get his 30 or 40. Nobody else ain't getting 30 or 40.
But even with that, I think it's just different. Because I think with Golden State, if you stop Curry, you kind of stop everybody else, so to speak. Because the way Curry scores, if he hits a three, not only does the arena light up, but the team lights up. It's like when you start seeing Curry score, everybody, like when Curry went on that little flurry, Jordan Poole followed suit in the third quarter. He said, "Are we shooting now? Okay, let's do it." You know, and I think that it's not the same with Tatum. Tatum can go for 30 points. That's not going to make everybody else say, okay, let's ride with Tatum. I think when you start seeing like the Al Horfords of the world going crazy or the Marcus Smarts of the world going crazy, that's when the Celtics start to wake up. So I think what they did was, you know, look at it. Robert Williams, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, only 2 points. You stopped the hardened energy of that team. And Celtics was never able really to recoup. It even slowed down Jason Tatum, who's having a hell of a first quarter. So not just first quarter, first half. You slow them down. Now that energy is gone from Boston. And Steph Curry is raining threes, and he got Golden State going crazy, Chase Arena going crazy. I mean, hell, look, you even see the looks on Steve Kerr's face. He still gives Steph Curry looks like, who made you, bro? Like, I know your daddy can shoot, but who taught you how to shoot? I think Steph Curry was abducted as a kid by aliens, and he was shooting on planet
I don't
X,
know who taught him how to shoot like that.
And he got sent back.
And then him and Klay Thompson came on the same team. I just don't understand.
And the thing is, that's what's scary for Boston, because people making excuses for Boston. You got beat by 20 points when Klay Thompson goes 4-19. That's scary.
Al Horford also had 2 points, and Marcus Smart had like.
I get that, but that's another thing. Everybody's forgot that the Warriors has always had a top defense. Everybody thought that the Warriors stopped learning how to play defense. What did this?
Yeah, I hate when people like this. When the Warriors start learning how to defend, I say, Draymond was a defensive player of the year before, right? They always was one of the best defensive teams in basketball.
You do realize
that offense is just so crazy.
Their fourth scorer on the team was a Finals MVP at the time, Andre Iguodala. Like you forgot that they have 3 legitimate all-stars on this team. Like, and you forgot that at one point in time, that's what made Golden State so scary. The fact that they can score on you, but you can't score on them.
You do got a point. But I ain't gonna lie, the only person in Golden State I really can't stand is Andrew Wiggins. I hate Andrew Wiggins. I don't know why, because I just hate how people just talk. I'm like, bro, you guys realize he was the number 1 pick in the draft, right? All right, that's one guy. He's also an X factor, but Golden State, they're nice. It's just that 3-headed monster. When you got Draymond on that roster, people talk how bad they can't stand Draymond, and Draymond really don't do nothing. Draymond makes that team go. If they didn't have Draymond, they would not be the Warriors, how everybody thinks they are. Draymond is.
I agree 100%. Draymond's their spark plug.
Because he's the one that facilitates. He's the one that the tempo, and he does a lot he does the stuff that nobody wants to do, and that literally makes it hard. Like Draymond, when Golden State's healthy and Draymond Green is playing at his best, it's hard to beat Golden State.
Yeah.
And that's
you think Draymond's going to be able to stay in control and not get himself ejected?
I think the point system, he's going to end up getting suspended.
I
really think so.
He was close. He was close in that last game. I didn't watch the game live. I watched some of the highlights, and then later that night they replayed it. And I watched some because I was watching WWE Hell in a Cell that night. But from what I saw, he could have been ejected. Nobody could have argued about it.
Oh, I forgot to ask. You seen the MJF promo?
Yes.
I thought that was a great. I was like, okay. I always said MJF is the best heel in wrestling right now.
I agree, and I think it kind of might backfire on him though, because he done that, and now the crowd was cheering him. It was almost like he turned.
No, but the crowd. People don't realize wrestling.
You could be, but he's gonna be one of the guys that's just a badass heel where people start liking him and cheering.
People love a great heel. You had CM Punk as a heel.
Well, that's why I like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is an awesome.
Seth Rollins is a great heel.
Oh yeah. Did you watch that match he just put on with
him
Cody Rhodes?
Cody Rhodes with the torn pec.
People aren't giving Rollins enough credit for that. Yeah, Cody's getting his credit. He deserves it. I'm not saying he don't, but for Rollins to be able to work with him the way he did and put, man,
Rollins is a great generation wrestler. I always
take care of Cody, not get him hurt more. You know what I mean?
I'm just glad
Rollins done a lot in that match.
I'm glad WWE's utilizing this rivalry because Cody Rhodes is a very good wrestler. He's a very good wrestler.
I loved it when Rollins came out in the polka dots, dude. I was losing it.
You're talking about the Dusty Rose?
Yes, that's perfect. And then when they tied in the cowbell and the rope, that was something Dusty done all the time. He done all kinds of them cowbell matches.
Yeah, because I was watching a promo because I saw CM Punk. Everybody was talking about like he won and he had to give back. I'm like, okay, he got injured. And everybody was like, but you guys are not going to post the MGF promo. I was like, let me watch the promo. I'm like, oh man, this promo. It was good. It was good. That was great. That was almost pipe bomb level.
Yep, it was good.
I love when they try to open the fourth wall. That's like when you open that fourth wall, like what Brian Pillman and CM Punk, what all of them did. That's what makes that's what puts the realness in wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Hell in a Cell was a decent show. That women's triple threat match was real good.
The women's division WWE is great. It's the best I've seen.
Did you see that triple threat match open the show?
I didn't get to watch it.
Oh, dude, Asuka, Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair. It was awesome.
They're three are great wrestlers.
They put on a great match. It was a great match to kick off the show. And I really liked the Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins match. I thought it was real good. I just think about it could have been if Cody wasn't hurt. I'm sure they had to change some things they were going to do in that match because
I'm waiting for the Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I think that's actually would be pretty good due to the fact they're UFC.
I'll tell you what, Monday Night Raw was pretty good this week.
Yeah, I enjoyed Monday Night Raw.
It was pretty good this week. I watched it. Well, main reason I watched it because I wanted to hear Cody Rhodes talk at the beginning.
I ain't gonna lie. When I got older, I started realizing I love heels. Like, the more I got older, I realized heels are very important in wrestling.
Well, that's like we covered the independent wrestling. I got a couple shirts here that I bought off some of the wrestlers, and they're all heels. I haven't bought hardly nothing on any of the baby faces. Always.
There's nothing wrong with being face, but like when you're a great heel in wrestling.
Yeah, and there ain't nothing better than a great heel in wrestling, is there, Rob?
No, not at all.
Rob's a big wrestling fan as well.
You watched the MJF promo?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed every minute of it. Thoroughly enjoyed it because it's always a good thing when you can kind of bring realism into wrestling, when you kind of knock down that fourth wall. And MJF didn't do anything but retort everything that most people have been talking about with AEW. It's like you kind of watering down your product, bringing in all these old WWE guys. And you're forgetting about the talent that you have on this roster. You introduced us to some great talent, then they kind of fell through the seams. Chris, what did your father allude to? He didn't know anything about an Orange Cassidy or Darby Allin and actually started to like these guys. Yep. Then they just kind of fell off the face of the earth. He's like,
I think they're using Darby Allin terribly.
I love Darby Allin.
I think Hangman Allen Page
he's taking a step back.
I think Hangman Allen Page should have got over on CM Punk.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the only WWE guy I do like, I am an Adam Cole fan. I can't lie. I think Adam Cole should have the title right now.
I love Adam Cole. Adam Cole is a great wrestler. They use a lot of him terribly. I think AEW, like, I want one more guy from WWE AEW, and that's Ben Balor. That's it. Because Ben Balor, they're not using him well at WWE either.
Well, they're getting ready to they just made him a leader of that group.
The Judgment Day with Edge.
I think that they have to do. I said that too, Deontay. They got to do right by Finn. Yep. I think Finn was on that role. Unfortunately, Seth injured him.
Yeah, with the Universal Championship.
The Universal Champion. He was the first ever Universal Champion. So he got injured. At the time when Steph was injuring a lot of people with that power bomb off the turnbuckle. So let's hope that with this new attitude from Finn, he like we mentioned before, he's ran a group before, running the Bullet Club in New Japan as Prince Devitt. I think Finn Balor has a lot
also AJ Styles too. I wouldn't mind him in AEW. They're not utilized. They have AJ Styles ever since that long WWE run. And you also Daniel Bryan. I felt like they screwed him over a lot.
Yeah, you know what? I honestly wish that WWE would take their head out of their asses and actually participate in this this challenge that AEW got going on with people from different wrestling promotions wrestling against it. That's like an ultimate Survivor Series. Like, I would love to see that. To me, we've seen the people from New Japan come out in AEW and they wrestle. But what if an AJ Styles really did pop up in AEW, but still was wrestling for the moniker?
We try to do that with Mickey James with the 2-Day Championship.
Yeah, they tried, but they only really did that, I think, with the relationship they got with Mickey, and they needed people. They needed women in particular to be in that Royal Rumble. They just don't have enough women on that roster.
Yo, man, I think the women they got in their roster, like the top women, are cream of the crop. Like, I would never say I think the women's roster in WWE is better than the men's roster.
No, but when I say they didn't have enough in numbers, to fill out the Royal Rumble.
Well, we can agree on that. The women roster in WWE is better than
I agree with you.
I think Bianca Belair.
AEW's women roster is not very good.
You talking about Asuka? Like you know what? I think Britt Baker would do wonders in WWE. I like Britt. I love
Britt Baker. Britt Baker was a great. Actually, like Jade Cargill too, though. And Red Velvet
just can't wrestle.
She's just strong.
They're pushing her too soon.
Yeah, the TBS championship. I didn't think she was gonna get it. I like Red Velvet more.
She needs to. They need to let her in-ring stuff develop more.
I like Red Velvet more than I like.
You know what? I think I like Red Velvet wrestling skills more. But I mean, Jade Cargill is the perfect mouthpiece. She can talk her shit.
She's great at
they need to develop her because if she can get better in the ring, dude, she'd be a star.
I always want to ask people because not people is a diehard wrestling fan like I am around. Like, if you had to pick, who has the best promos right now in wrestling?
As far as women or just anybody in general?
Anybody in general.
The best promos. It's probably the Bloodline to me. I think Roman Reigns has been cutting some great promos.
You know how shocked I was? He came back and
I think that's the best. The best thing going in wrestling right now.
I think Roman Reigns. I love the dynamic with him and Paul Heyman.
WWE.
It's beautiful.
He's carried WWE like John Cena was at one point, but Roman Reigns, it sucks for him. WWE back then, they promoted the stars better. So John Cena had dudes like Batista, Edge. He had people to go against. WWE now is bringing back dudes to fight Roman Reigns. Like you got
that's WWE's fault. They haven't built anybody else up.
Only person they built up is honestly like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. They don't utilize Finn Balor. Yeah, I feel like they're trying to build up Riddle.
Yep, they're trying to build up Riddle. They're trying to build up. I think you
Drew McIntyre's another guy.
They didn't do Shinsuke right.
No, but they're trying to build up some of them guys because look how many of the mid-card guys was on the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and they didn't have some of their bigger stars on it. So I think they are trying to build up some of them guys.
I think they brought Cody Rhodes too to bring back.
Yeah. I mean, to me personally, they have enough. Like you have Bobby Lashley, you got Drew McIntyre. They could have utilized Dolph Ziggler better. I mean, he got to the point.
I think Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns.
They just sent him to NXT and say, you know what, have it down there. I mean, Dolph Ziggler to me can wrestle a broomstick and have a great match.
You know who else they did terribly? Dolph Ziggler's a great wrestler. You know who else they did terribly? I think could have been a great heel. Robert Roode.
Oh man, I'm so sad for him.
I know how happy I was. Somebody, Cesaro.
Cesaro is a great wrestler. God. I don't care what nobody says. Cesaro with that Roman Reigns match, that was a great match.
I think if they had used him right, he could have been a big star.
Bray Wyatt's another one when he was the Fiend.
Rumors are Bray Wyatt's ready to come back.
Yeah, the Fiend was Braun Strowman. I like Braun Strowman.
Cesaro was the Drew Holiday of wrestling. One of the most underrated people. I don't see how Cesaro was not a world champion.
You heard what Daniel Bryan said. Remember that one time Daniel Bryan said, Cesaro is honestly the most slept on. He says Cesaro, he says Cesaro when he was in WWE, his time in WWE, he was number one of most matches in WWE that year for 5 straight years.
Bro, if you look at some of Cesaro matches, the way that he executes, because he knows how to make impactful moves without actually hurting people, but it looks like it hurt, and honestly, can we not say Cesaro is probably one of the strongest men in wrestling?
Oh yeah,
he really is the Swiss Superman. So if we're talking about
Vince McMahon is stuck on heavyweight,
you could have threw a Paul Heyman with Cesaro, and I hate to try to make an excuse. Maybe he doesn't have a mouth. You can give anybody. Hell, you could have came and got me from ASAP, and I would have been Cesaro's mouthpiece. I would have been
his manager. All he needed was a good manager. All he needed was a good manager. He gave him Paul Heyman. If you would have gave him Paul Heyman and gave him a bigger push, I think Cesaro would have been better.
Man, Cesaro is a dog, bro. I've seen Cesaro.
If you would have done with Cesaro what you're doing right now with Roman Reigns by putting Heyman with him,
He would be big.
Cesaro would have been a big star.
But my problem with WWE is they always want to go with, Vince McMahon is still thinking wrestling is like how it was in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. He always wants to go with the heavyweights.
Yeah.
You don't need a heavyweight anymore.
No.
The super kick is like
my dad's on here. He said MJF told the truth.
Yeah, Tony, I agree.
Oh yeah, Tony, I 100% agree. He told the truth. I love CM Punk. CM Punk is in my top 5 favorite wrestlers ever. CM Punk is the reason I got back into wrestling hugely. But they should not give him the title. I think they should have let Hangman Adam Page go over on him, build his fan base up more. I think Hangman Adam Page and Adam Cole would have been a great fight, and then Adam Cole could have took it off. I think that's the only WWE guy because Adam Cole, I don't even think it was WWE. I think more of a Japan still because they didn't utilize Adam Cole that well in WWE. And they also, I forgot they got Kenny O'Reilly too, right?
Until he, I
love your dad, Chris. Lashley Reigns at SummerSlam would be a great fight.
I ain't gonna lie to you. If I'm in NXT, I'm almost afraid to go to the main roster.
You're gonna send you back.
Don't call me up because I'm gonna get lost in the sauce. Like, look at Keith Lee. Keith Lee was the North American champion and the NXT champion. Then you get called up to the main roster.
Keith Lee was one of my dad's favorites. My dad loved Keith Lee. They moved him up, they didn't do nothing.
Karrion Kross is another one. Did it Karrion Kross?
I forgot all about Karrion Kross.
They have some guys in NXT right now that could be big stars.
Yeah,
Johnny Gargano. They did him dirty.
If you got to treat NXT as a separate entity,
I think he could have been a good star in WWE. Johnny Gargano, I liked him.
Yeah. Well, Rikishi's son's in NXT right now. I think he could be a big star. Solo Sikoa.
They're using. What though? I'm hearing rumors though he might get called up to the Bloodline.
Who? Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen.
Uso's little brother.
I'm surprised they haven't brought Jimmy Superfly Snukem daughter.
Who you talking about Tamina?
Yeah, in the Bloodline. I think that would be cool. Or they put Naomi in there.
Yeah. You know what though? I thought they was gonna bring Naomi, honestly, especially with her winning. I thought because honestly, the way I would have wrote the storyline, I would have had Naomi win that singles with that match to go against for the women's title. I would have then gave her the women's title and then have her turn on Sasha and be on the Bloodline. Like I would have did that. Like,
and the Bloodlines have Bloodline have all the
everything, and then you call up the Usos' little brother. He wins the IC and the US title.
They said who is the new champ in AEW? I don't know.
The new champ? Oh, you talking about sis? I think they're gonna have an interim champ.
Yeah, but they're gonna have an interim. He's asking who do we think is going to be the new champ?
No, it's gonna be. That's a hard one.
You know what? It might be Adam Cole, and then have him and CM Punk battle it out.
I don't think Adam Cole would be a good one though for CM Punk. I'm trying to think of somebody that can match CM Punk neck and neck.
They might give it back to Moxley.
Hey, that's what my friend and coworker just said. That.
You want me to tell y'all something? I love John Moxley. I love John Moxley.
That's kind of what I think they're going to do is give Moxley the interim title, and then they'll have
another
WWE. He has one of the best interests in wrestling. I love when every time Wild Thing comes on, I start to sing along.
I do too. I like Jericho's too.
Oh, dude, I actually downloaded.
So what about The Rock's daughter? Yeah, she could be in the Bloodline.
Yeah, I heard she's supposed to be training.
They're talking about The Rock and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, the other day, I think this is the first time my dad's been on. When you've been on, he watches wrestling fight like 7 days a week, so he knows.
Hey, Tony, I like you, man, because I watch wrestling too every time I can.
Man, let me tell you something, man. We had a great conversation on Chris's wrestling room, Gonzo's wrestling room, man. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, man, you gotta put me on that Gonzo's wrestling room one day.
I'll get you on there.
We had such a great conversation, man. His dad is like a historian, so and he really keeps up with the storylines and everything going on, and whatnot. So I really enjoy myself.
That's why I hate like wrestling people like just wrestling. I love like I will literally watch the promo or the storyline of how it became.
Oh, dude,
how it was.
Well, look,
I still to this day still watch the Austin 316 promo.
Oh yeah,
that made
Cody Rhodes and
the Authority.
That's what made the Cody Rhodes and Rollins match so good was the story. The story they told.
But they're also great technicians wrestling too.
Yeah, they're great wrestlers too. But that story they told, how they tied in his dad and everything, it just made it that much better.
Yeah, like the storyline is great. Like I love storylines. That's why I think AEW needs to get one with a great storyline. The best storyline AEW honestly had was the Pinnacle and Amen.
I completely agree, and I think that's what makes us attracted to wrestling because of the story. Anytime you can tell a good story,
Moxley's gonna be the champ.
Not even just
Moxley and Kenny Omega.
Rivalry was coming back.
Too. Is he still rehabbing, right?
Can I tell y'all something?
I think he's come back pretty soon.
I never understood why everybody was like Kenny Omega. If he hits his finisher, what was it? The 3-legged. I keep forgetting what it's called.
You talking about
like if he hits you with it, it's 1, 2, 3. You can't never kick out. I never understood why they made that a mystique.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you this: the one finisher they did ruin was the End of Days. I think that was a finisher that nobody should have kicked out of.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, especially when you see some of these other finishers.
Man, right? You see Jericho with the elbow and all that. Man, that End of Days is legit.
The Judas effect. I'm like, bro, why? I ain't going. I'm like,
but I will give Jericho some credit. He got his ass in fucking shape.
Yes, he did. I'm like, okay. You know what? I think he got tired of people fat shaming him.
A lot of people don't give Chris Jericho the. You said rehab not going well.
It's not going well. Wow. Yeah. And I hate that too because Kenny Omega
is a great
especially
wrestler.
When he was the cleaner in New Japan. Like, man,
people don't realize he's a great wrestler.
Oh my God, Kenny's a dog.
That's that Jake the Snake DDT.
Yeah, it was the way he DDT people was awesome.
I don't think you've seen anybody kick out of that either. I can't hardly remember anybody kicking out of his DDT.
I ain't gonna lie, my favorite AEW finisher is probably the Paradigm Shift. I don't know. John Moxley is like one of them dudes in WWE. I love when CM Punk came back, and I love when Daniel Bryan was in AEW because Daniel Bryan loves to wrestle. But John Moxley, he just fits AEW.
Man, I'm a big John Moxley fan. I actually got to see him wrestle about an hour from where I live in Indianapolis. He was in Indianapolis at an independent show. And this dude threw a guy, he told the fans to move, and he just threw this guy over there on top of these empty chairs. They go outside on the road, and there's a car coming down the street, and he threw the dude on top of that car. We all just followed him outside and followed him right back in.
Oh, and what happened with Daniel Bryan?
And Daniel Bryan was at that same show.
They don't use him a lot anymore.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan was at that same show too. It was actually the Saturday before Daniel Bryan made his debut back on Raw. We saw him here in Indianapolis at an independent show.
Because I don't like that combat thing they're doing. I understand like Eddie Kingston because it's Eddie Kingston. I like him. I'm a huge Eddie Kingston fan too, but I
wish they would have just kept it Moxley and Bryan and put Regal with them. I wish they had
I think they should. I think they should push Kingston more too, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think they should put Kingston in that group. I think they should have kept it just Moxley and Bryan, and then added Regal with them, and I think it could have been great.
I think they just want to. I think they want to push Kingston. The problem is with Tony Khan. I know he was hurt. The problem with Tony Khan, I think he's trying to make it big as WWE, so he's trying to put the biggest WWE star that they had at that time. I think he should just use his homegrown. Like Darby Allin's is a good. Darby Allin was a good one. I love Jungle
exactly
Boy.
What me and Dad and Rob was talking about a couple of weeks ago on that podcast.
Yeah, Jungle Boy was a nice.
They need to build up their younger guys. You use them WWE guys to build up your younger guys. Don't use them WWE guys to try to take over the company and try to make them your stars. Use them. You should use them guys to help develop your talent.
But in CM Punk's defense, knowing him and knowing how he is, with the AEW championship, I think he was gonna wrestle a lot more and do a lot for them, the younger individuals.
And people don't give Jericho enough credit because if it wasn't for him, AEW wouldn't still be running right now.
I always said Chris Jericho.
He carried that. He carried that company.
Yes, he did.
I think Chris Jericho get disrespected when it comes down to all-time wrestlers. I think Chris Jericho should get more respect than he deserves. He's been doing this for a very long time.
Oh yeah,
and I'm saying this because
one of the best at it.
Yeah, I'm a diehard Jericho guy. Like, you can't
look how many times he's changed his gimmick and stuff and to stay relevant.
Yeah, he went able to do Y2J. He went from this. Then he went to the suits, cut off his hair.
Making the list. I love the list.
Yeah, remember the fun fact? One of my friends, he said, "Man, he just had normal paper and he just freestyled and just said you made the list." Yeah, like the best friend Kevin. Like Chris Jericho did a lot of personas. That's why he's so good.
Yep.
Yeah, he has one of the best intros in WWE history. I'm not gonna lie.
Who you talking about? Roman Reigns?
No, Chris Jericho.
I don't even want to think about.
Nah, it's Roman Reigns, bro.
They're definitely doing it, brother.
No, I'm not saying
the new entrance. I love it. It's like fighting the boss on a video game.
That is true. It is like fighting the boss in the video. I was my huge intros. I always love Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels. That's my all-time favorite wrestler. I love Shawn Michaels. There's a few intros. John Cena is a big one. I forgot about Lionheart.
Yeah, Jericho don't get the respect. He's good. And like I said, if it wasn't for him, AEW wouldn't still be around.
Yeah, because that was the only main attraction.
He carried that company.
Him and John Moxley was like the biggest attractions.
Yep.
And people don't realize that.
And they're not building up their younger talent. If they don't build up their younger talent, they're going to get to a point it's going to turn into like WCW did.
Yeah, stagnant. They took all WWE's people too,
and didn't do nothing with about it. Just kept putting their body in the NWO.
But WWE, they're bringing back John Cena, I think, on the 17th. Yeah, his 20th year.
Yep.
I'm probably going to tune into that. I call it John Cena. People, I was telling people, like, I'll explain it because, like, my friend has nephews and they're huge into wrestling. They said when I was younger, who was like the biggest wrestler? I said, you guys don't understand. There was nobody as big as John Cena fight for my whole time I was a child until I was like a grown man. John Cena was like the hugest draw in wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Like John Cena had
merchandise, man. You know how many John Cena hats and armbands and t-shirts I've bought over the years?
Like John Cena. I think John Cena,
when he was younger, he was a big John Cena fan. Every time he got stuff.
I actually debate, and I debate. I said John Cena is going to be the last. John Cena is the last megastar I believe in WWE.
Yeah, they don't want these guys to get megastars because then they leave and go to Hollywood and stuff.
Like The Rock.
Yep.
But John Cena, in his defense, he was a megastar for like 15 to 16 years.
Oh yeah.
Then he decided to do his own thing.
And did all the stuff he done that people don't realize, like the Make-A-Wish things. And I mean, he was the face of the company for a long time.
I'm like John Cena. People don't realize, like, John Cena was one of the only faces I like. Like, all my favorite wrestlers are like heels.
See, my son's favorite of all time is Edge. He loves Edge.
Who doesn't love Edge? Edge is a great heel.
We actually have a chair that's signed by Edge and Jim Ross.
He had a great interest too. I downloaded that song too by Metallica. On this day.
Yeah.
I never understood why people wanted him. When he always wanted to turn face, I'm like, why Edge got to be face? There's two dudes I never want to see face. Edge and The Miz. Those are two guys.
I think WWE's getting ready to turn Edge face. I think that's why they done that Monday night.
Edge and The Miz are two wrestlers.
They're gonna make Edge. They're gonna make Edge face while Cody's out.
I think Ben Balor's a better.
Getting ready to happen.
Ben Balor's a better heel than he is. I like Demon Ben Balor though. I don't like.
I think Ben Balor.
Have you guys never paid attention to him in New Japan? Finn, when he was Prince Devitt, he was a beast, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I think this new group is going to help. I think it's really going to help him being that leader of this new group if they do it right.
You think AJ Styles is going to join?
He might. I hadn't thought about that, but
maybe to bring the Bullet Club back. You know. that give you that feel.
That's my second all-time favorite wrestler, AJ Styles. That was before WWE. I was watching news on New Japan.
I'd like to bring back Luke Gallows. And
they did him dirty.
And the main reason I want him to come back is because I met him at an independent show, and the stuff he did for this little boy. Hey, I wish that dude to be on the top, because
he did him. They did them and Colt Cabana dirty.
That Luke Gallows is a great dude. I got to meet him. I saw what he done on a last minute thing to go be at this kid's fundraiser for that had epilepsy as a fundraiser for some surgeries he had to have. And Luke Gallows is an awesome dude. I wish him nothing but success, because I saw firsthand what he does outside the ring.
Indeed. Shout out to Luke Gallows.
I mean, dude, we got there and he sat there with that little boy probably for 45 minutes before he ever went to the locker room or anything.
No, so yeah, Luke Gallows, I think him, Colt Cabana, they did a lot of people wrong in wrestling. Like WWE, they cut people too soon. Like Ember Moon. I think Ember Moon would have been a good WWE female wrestler, but now she's in AEW.
I don't know what happened with her. They started to push her there at first, and then she just kind of stayed around that mid card.
But AEW, I think AEW right now, I think their weakest spot, I think their men's wrestling is better. They just need to.
Let me ask you this before we get out of here. What did you think of AEW's last pay-per-view?
It could have been better.
Yeah, I wasn't, especially for being supposed to be like their biggest pay-per-view. It wasn't what I was expecting. The first half of it was bad, but it picked up some in the second half.
I think AEW would have took off better if they would have utilized Daniel Bryan coming to AEW.
Yep.
When Kenny Omega was the champion, and they would have did that for the championship instead of doing it at AEW. I think they did that terribly.
In my opinion, Daniel Bryan's probably the best there is right now. In the ring, if you go by in the ring, and
in the ring, technicality, absolutely. Daniel Bryan is one of the best to do it. He's one of the best ever to me.
Yes, sir.
But I think they should have utilized the Daniel Bryan, Kenny Omega thing to make AEW bigger. You got the biggest dude outside, the biggest dude in independent wrestling in Kenny Omega. At that time, we can't lie, he was the biggest independent wrestler. And you had the biggest mainstream WWE star that everybody loved.
Well, and even if you weren't a big wrestling fan, people knew who Daniel Bryan was because
Daniel Bryan was
because of that
Because even my wife knows who Daniel Bryan is.
Everybody knows Daniel Bryan. I think if they would have utilized Kenny Omega and the Daniel Bryan and made it a huge storyline, I think that would have shot it. You would have did that, the Kenny Omega, Daniel Bryan, and then Adam Cole came. I think instead of Adam Cole joining the Elite, I think Adam Cole and Kenny Omega would have been a good one too.
Adam Cole, baby.
I think Adam Cole versus Kenny Omega would have been nice. Former Bullet Club. And also, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know about the tag division. Tag division, they can do a lot better.
Yeah.
I think they should have put the tag titles on Keith Lee and Swerve.
That's what we were all hoping. That's what we were hoping for too.
I think so. I think the Young Bucks could have. I think Young Bucks need to push more people over.
I think because Young Bucks don't need.
That's what they need to be doing. They need to be helping put.
They need to push people over. More.
Young Bucks don't need pushing.
No, I'm not saying they need pushing. I'm
saying they push more. I agree with you saying. That's what I'm saying. I agree with what you're saying. Like
the Young Bucks,
they can push other people because the Young Bucks are like the Young Bucks.
The Young Bucks are the best tag team in pro wrestling.
Tag team history.
Yeah.
They're the best tag team in pro wrestling.
Yeah, they're at the point in their career where they should be helping get younger tag teams over.
Dude, that Meltzer driver, bro, one of the sickest moves I've ever seen in my life.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've never been a big Young Bucks fan, but
me either. I like Nick Jackson though.
And I'll tell you why. Because it seemed like if I watched one match of theirs, I'd seen all of them.
They do wrestle the same.
Honestly, I used to call them the reincarnated Hardys.
Come on, man. The Hardys was my childhood.
Yeah, but when you first seen the Young Bucks, it was like they kind of mimicked the Hardys in their early days.
Less spot fest.
When the Hardys were still wet behind
Tony,
the ears.
You're right. They need wrestling needs more of a storyline AEW than a spot fest. I think AEW, they just be like, all right, we got this card and we're doing this. I think they need to bring more of a story. They need to make them like what made WWE so great is because they had storylines. WWE always been, I'll give them that. They storylines always, they got some historical storylines. That's why I think AEW is missing.
Honestly, I think Tony Khan should come out, confront MJF, and then he should hit him with the TNT ring.
Build like a McMahon and Austin rivalry.
I would love to see it. I think that'll push MJF to the moon, and it'll kind of introduce people to who Tony Khan is.
Hey, it might be good, but it's not going to be better than Stone Cold.
It's never going to be Stone Cold Vince McMahon because nobody is Vince McMahon. Like Vince McMahon really. One thing I can't say about Vince, like I know maybe his eye for the business has changed, but nobody can ever doubt that he loves this business, and nobody can doubt who Stone Cold was as a wrestler.
I think that probably separates Vince from a lot.
He's my favorite. Stone Cold is.
He had the biggest draw in wrestling history, I think.
It's between him and
he was doing what everybody.
I think John Cena was more of a draw than Rock.
Nah, you can't. I don't think you can say that because John Cena is more of a draw with kids. I mean, The Rock, bro. I mean, you got to remember when Stone Cold, so to speak, picked up his ball and went home. Like they literally called The Rock from Hollywood to say, "Come save us." Like
that's true.
And like the draw that The Rock had when he became The Rock, like The Rock was one of those villains at one point in time that you love to hate. Like even when he was corporate Rock, people cheered The Rock.
But honestly, though, if you're being real, like when The Rock left for Hollywood, who was the guy
John Cena.
They relied on John Cena.
No, I'm not taking nothing away.
I'm still surprised he is not a WWE Hall of Famer yet.
Who? The Rock?
No, John Cena.
I'm surprised The Rock is not.
Yeah, The Rock is one. The Rock is still one.
The Rock is not a Hall of Famer.
I thought he became a WWE Hall of Famer.
No, he only inducted his father and his grandfather. He's not a Hall of Famer.
Wow, really?
The Rock is not in the Hall of Fame. They've never. Trust me. When The Rock joins the Hall of Fame, we will know.
I think the same thing with John Cena.
Class.
I think they're gonna do a bigger thing with John Cena if he ends wrestling than they do with the Undertaker. I think honestly, because how big John Cena meant everything. You gotta realize you guys were older when John Cena was wrestling.
Man, I miss Thugonomics John Cena, man. That was my dude.
When I was a kid, John Cena
he was getting ready to get fired from WWE. That Thugonomics is what saved him.
Oh yeah, the Doctor
Thugonomics, bro. We used to go around playing with that, talking about world life.
No, it's basic Thugonomics.
That was my dude, man. John Cena was hilarious, bro. Like
his album went platinum.
The man was on 106 in Park. And I don't know, maybe people that's not in the black community don't understand how big 106 Park was. How big 106 in Park was. But to have John Cena show up on that and promote his rap album, bro, with the spinning USA title, US title. Oh my God, bro. When he bought the spinning title to the WWE, I said,
how long that spinning title was a WWE championship? John Cena Rock.
This dude didn't even wear jewelry, bro. This man literally took a chain and a padlock, bro.
You said, do they put The Rock in 2023? I think they should put The Rock, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and Randy Orton.
You cannot put all of them in the Hall of Fame at the same time. Because you have to have them headlined.
Yeah, you got
to let them headline their Hall of Fame class.
But who do you think will go first, John Cena or The Rock?
The Rock should go.
I think The Rock should have won before The Undertaker.
I think The Rock did. I think the thing is The Rock hasn't officially retired yet. Which door? That door? See, Stone Cold has officially retired. Rock officially retired.
Undertaker's one of the rare ones that they done or put him in the Hall of Fame pretty quick after he retired. He
deserved it though.
He deserved it. Don't get me wrong. He deserved it.
Service.
No, Shawn Michaels was like that too. Remember Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair? They went in the same year they retired.
Yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? You don't see it a lot.
And not to mention, I think it was just in everything aligned perfectly, especially with it being in his hometown.
Yeah, in the Last Ride documentary.
Houston, you know, so everything just kind of aligned.
Oh, dude, that Last Ride documentary was
it was amazing, bro.
That was during COVID. Me and my friend legit, I bought WWE Network just to watch that.
Like, to be honest with you,
Dude,
to
I've had
actually
WWE
see the Undertaker
since the day it came out.
Man, to see Undertaker let those to like let that protectiveness of his character down, and you got to really see Mark Calloway, you know, seeing like Roman Reigns joke with him at the airport, or you know, things like that. It's like,
that's why I loved his Hall of Fame speech, because the way he just came out and was in the ring, walking around talking. I thought his Hall of Fame speech was awesome.
Yeah, that's that's a lot of people best wrestler ever right there. I think he was the best character. No, Undertaker was the best character in wrestling history
ever.
Yep.
Ever. Like we're talking about, bro. Like, when I was young, I used to think that man had powers for real.
I couldn't watch him coming into the ring because I was scared he rolled his eyes back.
I ain't gonna lie, I used to scare my cousins like that. I roll my eyes into the back of my head.
I was lucky enough,
oh my god.
I was lucky enough to see Undertaker and Edge in the Hell in a Cell match at SummerSlam.
Chris, you got to see history, man.
Yeah,
that's when he choke slammed Edge through the ring and then caught the ring on fire. And man, it was cool.
Yeah, Undertaker's the greatest character.
And we had good seats.
That's one thing people don't understand. Like, I'll be like, how I define wrestling, I do by categories, because you can't. Best character to me is Undertaker. Best technician wrestler, it will be between Daniel Bryan and Bret Hart. Biggest draw, Stone Cold.
I had to throw Kurt Angle in that too.
Kurt Angle's too. Kurt Angle's Kurt Angle's in my top 5.
You know somebody that don't get the respect for his technical?
Chris Benoit.
Him, but Dean Malenko.
Dean Malenko's a good one, but there's a
reason. Man of 1,000 holes, man. That Texas cloverleaf was something.
Hey, no, I was a big Chris Benoit fan.
Me too.
I'm not gonna lie. Hey, that dude was awesome in the ring.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie.
I was my guy. Cross Crippler was my favorite submission move ever.
I put several people in my life in the crippler.
Yeah, the Cross Crippler was my favorite submission.
The crippler crossface? Are you serious? I put my wife in the crippler crossface.
He was called the Canadian Crippler for a reason.
The Rabbit Wolverine.
Let's get the final thoughts, because I have another show here in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, we need to get. I'm gonna get on the wrestling room with you one day, man. Because I can talk about wrestling for hours.
We record it and I release it on Sundays. Yeah, I'll get with you and get you on. Actually, if you want, we'll probably record one this on Friday if you're available.
Oh, I am. I could talk about wrestling for hours.
All right, I'll message you after I talk to my dad about what time and let you know.
All right, no problem.
Oh yeah, I like having guests. Like I said, that episode Rob came on, I felt like it was one of our best ones we've done. So
no, because you don't find a lot of people now that's really like, they watch wrestling, but they're not into it. Like, they just watch it because the physicality. They don't watch because the storyline, what brings up to it, the history of it. Nobody really knows wrestling that much anymore. If you talk to people about wrestling, they're not intellectually that not. They don't talk wrestling like how deep it is, like the storylines.
See, I get lucky because I don't watch it every night like my dad does, but I get lucky because I have my dad. Because if I miss something, he's seen it. So
yeah, me too. I'm the same way. Like, if I don't watch it every night, but if I do, I'll watch it. I'll watch clips. I will watch it on my phone. I'll see the biggest stuff on wrestling.
So I'm not gonna lie, I like watching the football games and basketball. So if that's on, I'm usually watching that, and I'll watch the wrestling later. But
I used to record wrestling.
See, we travel around and live stream independent wrestling shows.
Man, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, we got probably about 20 different independent shows on our YouTube channel. I got them broke down in different matches. The Pope's on there, Boogeyman, Rikishi, Rock and Roll Express.
Dang, Rock and Roll Express.
That's I got to meet the Rock and Roll Express. I went to a seminar.
Those are legends.
I went to a seminar with the Rock and Roll Express, man. They're cool dudes.
Not a lot of people know who they are. People don't know about like the AWA. They don't know about
They don't know about the NWA. They don't know
about the Jim Crockett promotion.
I got to meet the Pope, and the Pope took a picture with me.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we travel. We're doing the show this Saturday night. We're live streaming an independent show this Saturday from Kokomo, Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, Indiana seemed like a big wrestling state.
Oh, there's a lot of there's a lot of good talent here in Indiana too. There's a couple of women that I think are better than women that are on AEW.
That's fair. I do.
My dad said he's been a fan for over 50 years.
That's a long time.
Well, I gotta head out, y'all. But my final thought is, as always, we screaming free Britney, bring Britney Griner home. We love you, and we ain't forgot about you, especially us over here at ASAP. So we got you.
Amen.
And of course, Warriors in 5.
Free Britney, and Celtics in 6.
Thanks for coming on, Rob. Also, thanks for coming on, Deontay.
Hey, Gonzo, man. I saw you and Tate up here talking some mess, man. I said, you know what? I can hopefully spare a little bit. I had some people run up, and I had to cut y'all off for a little bit, but I'm glad I was able to get through the show, man. I love talking to you guys.
Yeah, same to you too, man.
Yeah, I love when Rob comes on. But yeah, that's going to be it for the afternoon Blitz. We will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll be live here in about 20 to 30 minutes with Easy Money, a sports betting show. So come join us for that. But I hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.